Walaikum salam wa rahmatullah. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. As-salatu wa salam ala Rasulullah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wa ahlul uqdatan min lisani yafqahu qawli. Inshallah, in today's talk, I'll talk about one of the stories which is mentioned in the Quran in Surah Al-Buruj, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about Ashabul Ukhdud. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Al-Buruj, بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم قتل أصحاب الأخدود النار ذات الوقود إذ هم عليها قعود وهم على ما يفعلون بالمؤمنين شهود وما نقموا منهم إلا أن يؤمنوا بالله العزيز الحميد الذي له الملك السماوات والأرض والله على كل شيء شهيد إن الذين فتنوا المؤمنين والمؤمنات ثم لم يتوبوا فلهم عذاب جهنم ولهم عذاب الحريق. صدق الله العظيم. These are a few of the ayat that talks about the story of Ashabul Ukhdud, which is the companions of the ditch. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is mentioning that these people of the pit or the ditches were destroyed with fire abandoning in fuel while they sat around it. And Allah is cursing those people, the one who punished or who killed these Muslimin at that time. And the story that is mentioned here in this surah is reported by different hadith, different riwayat. And one of the riwayat, which is used by Ibn Kathir, is from Imam Ahmad and also from Imam Muslim. And actually there are different stories are mentioned about the people, how they were tortured and killed in the path of Islam. Even the ones who were burned. And this surah is a Makki surah, and it is telling the Muslims at that time, when they were carrying the da'wah of Islam to the Meccans and the Jaziratul Arab at that time, the kind of a torture and hardship that they were going through, to show them from the stories of the people of the ditch that what happened in the past to the people who carried this message. So they understand the severity and the hardship that they can come across while they are carrying the message of Islam, message of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And to show them to strive hard and continue to stick to the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, even if you have to give your life. This is the essence of the story that I am going to talk about from the Ashabul Ukhdud. It is reported by Imam Ahmad that there was a king, reported by Imam Ahmad that Rasulullah said, there was a king in the past, and he had a sorcerer, and this sorcerer was getting old. And while he was getting old, he talked to the king and he said that I'm getting old, time is near for him to pass away. So he wanted a boy to be given to him so he can train him in sorcery and the magic. And king got him a boy and he was training him. This boy, when he used to come to the sorcerer to learn magic from him, on the way he used to meet a monk. And this monk, as some of the reports talk about that, as if the story is somewhere between the time of Isa alayhi salam and afterwards. So he was probably a Christian monk. Or when we are saying Christian at that time, he was on the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, whichever message was there at that time. So they were on the right path from that perspective. So the monk, he used to teach him about the oneness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And when he used to go to the sorcerer boy, the boy used to be, the sorcerers used to beat him up. And when he goes to the monk would teach him about the oneness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And he told him that if you are going through any kind of a hardship, so when you are with the sorcerer, tell him that your people kept you busy. And if you are with your people and they're trying to give you a hard time, tell him that the sorcerer kept you busy. And then this continues on with his life. He's learning something from the sorcerer, learning something from the monk. And one day, a creature appeared, and people were scared of him. Now, he had been trained by the sorcerer and the monk both. So he took a stone, and he took the name of Allah. He was going through a test to figure out who's on the right path, monk or the sorcerer. So he took the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and he said, if he's on the haqq, the monk, what he has taught him so far, so he asked Allah to destroy the creature, and he threw the stone at him. And the creature was destroyed, and people were saved. Now, he went back to the monk and told him the story about what happened. So monk said, now today, you have exceeded me even. You have learned, and you have exceeded me. But he said, now, you have to be careful. And he said, if you are tested, put in trial, do not tell him about me. The monk said. Now, this boy, because of this incident happened, he became famous among the people. Now, people start coming to him, and by the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he started curing people, whether it was congenital leprosy, blindness, and other diseases. By the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one who was curing him. So one of the courtiers of the king, he became blind. And he came to the same boy. He heard about him, he came to the boy, he wanted to be cured also. He brought a lot of gifts for him, he gave it to him, and he said, cure me. And the boy said, he cannot cure. The cure comes from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And if you want to be cured, believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this courtier, he accepted Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and he made dua, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave him his sight back. Now this courtier, he went back to the king, and he sat at the position he used to sit. Now the king saw him, and he said, who cured you? Because he knew he was blind. Who gave you sight back? He said, my Rabb. The king said, I did? He said, not you, because this is how he used to think of himself as the Rabb. He said, no, my Rabb is Allah. He said, oh, there's somebody else than me. He said, yes, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Oh, so now the king got angry at that. So king started beating him up. He wanted to know, where did he learn this from? Where is this religion coming from? Believing in Allah. So when he beat him up so hard, he gave the name of the boy. Now, they get to the boy now, the king. They got to the boy, and they asked him about the whole thing. And he said the same thing. It is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that he believes in. He is the one who gives the cure. So now they started beating him to renounce what he believes in also. And then they want to know the name, where he is learning all this from. And at the end, he gave the name of the monk as well. Now they went to the monk. Now they wanted the monk to renounce the name also. They stopped beating him up. He was not giving up. Until they said, okay, bring a saw. And they put the saw on his head, they cut him into 2 pieces. And he still did not renounce the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, did not give up Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then they brought him the same courtier again also. Same thing happened to him, and he was cut into 2 pieces as well. Now it was a turn for the boy. The boy who was the believer, who learned about the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from that month. And the king told him, take him to the high mountain, to the mountain, and take him there and ask him to renounce this deen. If he does not renounce, throw him off the cliff. They went up there, took a boy over there, and now the boy made the dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He made the dua to Allah to protect him, whichever mean he could. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala shook the mountain, and all of them, they fell down from the cliff except the boy. The people who took him to kill him, they all died. Now the boy went back to the king. So king asked him, what happened to those companions that went with you? And he told them, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala took care of, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did this to him. Now he sent more people with the boy to the sea. They said, take him in a boat in the middle of the sea, ask him to renounce the deen again. If he renounces, that's fine, bring him back. If he does not renounce, throw him in the middle of the sea and drown him there. He made the dua again, the boy, to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And all of them drowned except the boy. He comes back to the king. And now he tells to the king, if you really want to kill me, then you have to follow my command. You have to follow my command. He said that take an arrow and say this, that in the name of the Rabb of this boy, with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If you say that and then throw the arrow at me, this is the only way you can kill me. But he said, this is how you do, but you bring all the people there and do that in front of them. Now when he did this, now when the people saw that this boy he was not able to kill, and he was only able to kill when he said, Bismi Rabbi Ghulam. So now when he threw the arrow went to his temple, and the boy was martyred. Now at that point, all the people who were seeing this, they became the believers. They became Muslim right away. They said, we believe in the Rabb of this boy also. Now, one guy told the king, see what happened now. So now the king was afraid, what is going on? These people have all become the believers in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala now. So now, what he did was, he said, ordered his men to dug up the ditches. And he kindled the fire into those ditches. And then he ordered them, whoever renounces the deen, let them go. If he does not renounce, throw him into the ditches, those fire. This is what the Quran is talking about, the Ashab al-Ukhdud. That these people were thrown into those ditches to be burned. Now, while this was happening, there was a woman. She was breastfeeding a child. While she was breastfeeding, she was scared to be fallen into the ditch, meaning she was scared, was about to renounce. The child started talking to the mother now. And she said, don't be afraid, my mother. You are on the truth. And now this is how these believers, they were burned alive into those ditches because of the faith in Islam, believing in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. To be very accurate, believing in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the cause for them to give their life, and they, inshallah, will be the one who will be the successful one on the day of judgment. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned this story in Surah Al-Buruj to let the believers at that time, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in the Meccan era, to know that what this deen requires, and these are the kind of hardships that you can go through. So make them firm believers. And today, my brothers, we also have to look at the deen in the same manner, that the deen can require different kinds of hardships, different kinds of sacrifices, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tests each one of us in a different way. So we should not be the one who give up the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Rather, we should be the one who stick to the deen of Allah azza wa jal, no matter what the situation is we are in. And this is the purpose of narrating these stories in the Quran or the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that the story I was mentioning, the story is mentioned by Imam Ahmad, and similar story is mentioned by Imam Muslim as well in his reports. And there are other reports talk about different people were burned alive because of the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because they believed in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is mentioning about from a story of a boy. Look, he gave up his life for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we learn from that. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the correct understanding of this deen. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us the one who implements the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in our lives.